Single dad arrived late to the parent-teacher meeting. The principal shocked him with a proposal. It was nearly 7 p.m. when Jack stumbled into the brightly lit hallway of Lincoln Elementary, panting from the run across the parking lot. His shirt was wrinkled, his tie askew, and his work boots left muddy imprints on the polished school tiles. He checked his watch and winced. The parent-teacher meeting was supposed to end 15 minutes ago. He'd promised his daughter, Lily, he wouldn't miss it this time. But promises were hard to keep when you were working 2 jobs, juggling shifts, and doing your best to raise a child alone. Jack's heart sank as he peeked into the classroom, only to find it empty. The tiny chairs, colorful posters, and cheerful drawings on the wall seemed to mock him. Another no-show, another failure in a long line of parental guilt. He sighed, rubbed his face, and turned to leave when a voice called from the hallway. "Mr. Carter." Jack turned to see a tall woman in a navy blazer approaching him. Her smile was warm but curious, like she hadn't quite decided what to make of him yet. "I'm Principal Harris. I'm glad you made it. We were just wrapping up." "I'm so sorry," Jack said, breathless. "I got stuck at work." Well, it doesn't matter. Is there still time to talk about Lily?" Principal Harris gestured for him to follow. "Always. Come on, let's sit down." They walked into her office, a modest room filled with books, certificates, and a few hand-drawn thank you notes from students. Jack perched awkwardly on the edge of a chair, still catching his breath. He hated these moments, not because he didn't care, but because he did. Too much. Lily was everything. Ever since his wife passed away 3 years ago, it had just been the two of them. And no matter how hard he tried, Jack constantly feared he wasn't doing enough. Principal Harris opened a folder on her desk, flipping through a few pages. "Lily's doing wonderfully. She's bright, curious, kind. Honestly, she's one of the most empathetic kids I've met. That's something we don't see enough." Jack's shoulders relaxed slightly. "She gets that from her mom," he said quietly. Harris gave a knowing smile. "She talks about her mother a lot. Draws her in every family picture. You've done a beautiful job keeping her memory alive." Jack swallowed hard. "I try." There was a brief silence. Then Harris leaned forward. "Mr. Carter, can I ask you something personal?" He nodded warily. "Do you have any support, family, friends, someone to help out with Lily?" Jack shook his head. "My folks are gone. My wife's family, well, we lost touch after the funeral. I work construction during the day and janitorial at night. I squeeze in what I can, but the truth is, most days feel like I'm just barely holding things together." Principal Harris looked at him thoughtfully. Then she closed the folder, pushed it aside, and said something that made Jack's world tilt on its axis. "What if I told you the school wants to offer you a full scholarship for Lily to attend the district's private academy, and that will cover after-school care, meals, and transportation, free of charge?" Jack blinked. What? "It's part of a pilot program," she explained. "Funded by donors who want to support students with potential, and families with heart. We select 1 child each year. The staff voted unanimously for Lily." Jack stared at her. He felt the air leave his lungs, the way it does when you hear news so good you're afraid to believe it. "But, why?" he asked. "There are other kids who have more promise, more." "Jack," she interrupted gently, "you came here after a double shift. Mud on your boots, exhaustion in your eyes, and still, you showed up. Lily sees that. We all do. It's not just her grades or behavior. It's the love and grit you both carry. That's the story we want to support." Tears welled up in Jack's eyes, uninvited and uncontrollable. He pressed the heel of his hand to his temple, shaking his head. "I'm just a janitor," he said hoarsely. "You're a father," Principal Harris replied. "One of the good ones." For a moment, Jack couldn't speak. All the years of struggle, the nights he cried quietly while Lily slept, the meals he skipped so she could eat, the birthdays he tried to make special with handmade cards and dollar store gifts, it all flashed before him like a reel of silent sacrifices. He finally managed, "I don't know what to say. Just say yes." He nodded, stunned. Yes. Of course, yes. Later that night, Jack sat on the edge of Lily's bed, watching her sleep, her arm curled around a stuffed giraffe. Her breath was soft, steady, the breath of a child who felt safe. He touched her hair gently, whispering a promise into the dark. "I'm going to give you everything, baby girl. Everything I never had." The next morning, when he told her about the scholarship, her eyes grew wide. "Does that mean I get to ride the big bus with the library in it?" He laughed. "Yes, and there's even art class every day." She squealed and hugged him tight, and for the first time in years, Jack felt like maybe, just maybe, he was enough. Word of the story spread slowly around town, from coffee shop whispers to Sunday church announcements. People began to notice Jack more, the way he picked up trash outside the school without being asked, the way he greeted everyone with a tired but genuine smile. Parents who had once pitied him now admired him. And quietly, other families struggling in silence found the courage to step forward, inspired by his story. Months later, at a school assembly, Principal Harris stood at the podium and shared Lily's progress with the community. Jack sat in the front row, Lily's hand in his, beaming with pride. Harris paused at the end of her speech and looked out at the audience. We often talk about heroes in our world. We think of them as people in uniforms or capes. But sometimes, the real heroes are the ones who show up, tired, invisible, ordinary, and give everything they have for someone they love. Jack Carter is one of those heroes. The auditorium erupted in applause. Jack stood awkwardly, his face red, waving slightly before pulling Lily into his arms. She looked up at him with a shy grin. "See, Daddy. You're famous now." He chuckled, wiping his eyes. "I don't need to be famous, sweetheart. Just being your dad is more than enough." And in that moment, with his daughter's hand in his and a room full of strangers cheering not just for what he'd done, but for who he was, Jack realized that love, real, gritty, relentless love, had the power to move mountains. Because sometimes, all it takes to change a life is for someone to say, "I see you. You matter. Let us help." And that, in the quiet heart of a small school in America, was exactly what happened.